I don't know. I have to get a book after school, and I really wanted to get Harry Potter, but it's so expensive. I won't have any money left.
Oh, come on.
Well, I guess I could get a cheaper book so I could come to the movie. All right, count me in.
Yay.
This is an example of a person facing a trade-off. She's giving up the book that she wants in order to see a movie with friends. Acknowledging both options at hand is important when coming to a decision. First off, what causes the need for a trade-off? The answer is scarcity, meaning that the resources necessary to fill one's wants are limited. In this case, the resource was the amount of money Grace was carrying with her. Every day, society faces economic trade-offs. There are two important words to consider when dealing with these: equity and efficiency. Efficiency is getting the most benefits from those scarce resources, while equity means those benefits are being distributed equally and fairly. By fostering efficiency in a decision, you can lose equity and vice versa. How much is it costing you to go to college?
Well, it's about $25,000 with the room and boarding and tuition and everything. What about you?
4 years of my time, many nights of sleep, being able to get a job, about 10,000 in tuition, and the new car I wanted. The answer Grace gave represents that the cost of something is what you give up to get. By going to college, she can't get a job right away, but she's getting out of it a better education and more opportunities. The cost she explains in her answer is known as the opportunity cost. Caroline gave the dollar amount she'll be spending during her time in college, but it isn't correct because it includes her housing and food, which are necessities you have to pay for whether going to school or not.
Rational people systematically and purposely do the best they can to achieve their objectives given the opportunities they have. This means they make decisions based on marginal changes, small incremental adjustments to a plan of action. Rational people make decisions by comparing marginal benefits with marginal costs. Therefore, a rational decision maker will make decisions based on if the marginal benefit of such actions exceeds the marginal costs. An incentive is something that induces someone to act. Price of gas rising is an incentive for people to drive less. This means that more people will carpool or have fuel-efficient cars or use public transportation so they don't have to pay for gas as much.
Trading products between countries is a positive and productive thing to do. For example, I have a ham sandwich and my friend has a turkey sandwich. I like turkey and she likes ham more, so we trade our sandwiches and we're both better off. Trade benefits all the parties involved. Everyone can continue to produce what they excel at and trade so they still get a variety of goods. In a market economy, all decisions are made by the people. For example, when a teacher asks if the class wants to read silently or read aloud, as a group, the decision is made by everyone. Every person has the right to do what they choose and make their own decisions that will benefit them. In a communist country, there's one central power that makes all of the decisions. There's not a marketplace where the people decide the prices and everything is done by the central planner.
The example of bees pollinating flowers is an example of positive externality. Externality is the side effect or consequence of an action that affects other parties without interrupting the cost of goods involved. While the bees are supporting their colony, the flowers become pollinated. Therefore, there is a positive externality. In a sense, bees, or a queen bee, has the authority to protect and own a beehive. Their rights to use, earn, and transfer honey and pollen and protect their hive are their property rights. Property rights are constructs in economics for determining how a resource is used and owned by individuals, associations, or governments. A homeowner has the right to remove a beehive from their property if they wish, because it is legally their property right. And it's their private property. The government determines private and public property rights. If the bees demand more honey than is supplied, they need to raise their supply quantity to avoid market failure. Market failure is when consumers' demand for product does not equal the supply. Lack or excess of honey is a huge factor in equilibrium of the bee colony's economy. In order to thrive, bees use their own public policy and government power. Government power is the ability or capability of officials to change outcomes in the economy. In the U.S. government, regulations against monopolies or pollution are examples of government power. In a beehive, bees are given specific roles and duties to benefit their colony and use resources wisely. A successful grocery store is an example of great productivity. Productivity is the effectiveness of productive effort, especially in industry, measured in terms of rate of output per unit of input. A country whose workers produce a large quantity of goods and services at a fast rate typically have a higher standard of living. Similar to a thriving country, the grocery store succeeds economically due to fast shipments, a large supply of food, and frequent business from customers buying their products. In other words, as a nation's productivity grows, the employees earn more money and the company gains business.
When a government creates large quantities of money, the value of the money goes down. The more money the government prints, the less it's worth. This causes inflation, which is an increase of the level of prices in the economy. Many people refer to inflation as the price of living. Inflation and unemployment have an inverse relationship. When inflation is low, unemployment is high, but when inflation is high, unemployment is low. This affects the business cycle, which is irregular and unpredictable fluctuations in economic activity. The trade-off between inflation and unemployment is in the short run.